Welcome to Hogsback News. I'm Jack.
And I'm Adam. Coming up on today's show.
Roving reporter Rosa Deer reports some soaring London rent prices.
I live with 5 girls in my flat and just rent alone each is £400. If my rent increases and we won't be able to afford it, then my landlord's going to obviously find someone who can and kick us out, and then we're going to be homeless.
Emily Drew and Olivia Peacock have been to Thursley to investigate the much talked about defibrillator in a phone box.
I think it's a very good idea because you can react very quickly. You don't have to wait for the ambulance, for example, if somebody's in trouble, so you probably could be active very quickly.
Farnham residents are getting ready to celebrate an important milestone this Sunday.
We've discovered that actually Farnham was, or we believe Farnham was the first place to hold a 2-minute silence, and since it's the centenary, so the 100th anniversary, it'd be lovely to do something within the community similar to what happened to mark the occasion.
I'm standing outside Civil Road in Aldershot waiting to go in and see Captain America Civil War. Stick around because later on in the show I'm going to tell you what I thought about the film.
And could Leicester City complete the greatest sporting upset ever this weekend? We take a look at the permutations for the bookies and try to see who'll be celebrating.
Leicester City grab the lead early from the big defender Robert Huth. Well, what about that?
Firstly, today's main headline. News reports show rents increase across England by an average of 6.3%. Highlighting the housing shortage, Rosa Deer is in London.
The increase of cost of a place to live continues to increase yet another year. Last year saw the average rent paid by a private tenant reaching a record high of £816 per month. With new reports set to be released this summer, fear sets in for those in rented accommodation. The government now under more pressure to find ways to tackle the housing shortage. London leading the way with the average rent paid by 11.6% up. Landlord Zainab Bali discusses the struggle of finding tenants, while Christina Pantelli talks about the struggle of paying rent.
Being a landlord is hard enough, let alone find a decent tenants, as you know, the people you can't trust. While I'm trying to find tenants, I'm paying letting agencies as well. Longer stay with letting agency, if I can't find the tenants, I have to pay more and I lose money. Because of the rent increase, it's going to be more harder.
I live with 5 girls in my flat and just rent alone each is £400. And that's not even including like bills like gas and internet and stuff like that. If my rent increases and we won't be able to afford it, then my landlord's going to obviously find someone who can and kick us out, and then we're going to be homeless.
We have to pay enough just to live in Sandy Hill, don't we? 1, 3 and even 5-minute silences are common around the world, but the first 2-minute silence ever to be recorded happened right here in Farnham. Our reporter Jenny Cole has been finding out more about this claim to fame.
On the 10th of May 1916, the people of Farnham paused for 2 minutes of silence. They reflected that the nation was at war and, united as a community, remembered those they'd lost. This was probably the first 2-minute silence in the world. 100 years later, the town is marking the historic moment with a special event. Administrator for the Maltings, Charlotte Wood, is involved with planning the event.
So the Time to Remember event, so it's happening on Sunday, it's a reenactment and remembrance of the first ever recorded 2-minute silence, which happened in Farnham in, which we believe, 1916. So it's a way of remembering that day and reenacting what happened and getting the community of Farnham together. So there'll be a procession from the castle, which will go all the way down to Castle Street, and at the very end there'll be a stage very similar to what happened in 1916, where there'll be talks, speeches, and specially commissioned pieces of music, and then there'll be the 2-minute silence in order to remember. And then we're hoping the crowd will then carry on all the way through to Gostre Meadow, where there'll be a steam fair. So Mayday pole and steam fair rides, and it's basically inviting people for picnics and different stalls, people to do bits and bobs, sort of in memory of the time. However, that actually Farnham was, or we believe Farnham was the first place to hold a 2-minute silence, and since it's the centenary, so the 100th anniversary, it'd be lovely to do something within the community similar to what happened to mark the occasion.
Farnham Museum are also involved.
Yes, so Liz May up at the museum has been taking old portraits of soldiers who fought during the First World War and is sort of doing a display of the different portraits there and a bit of history, just to sort of tie it all in for the 2-minute silence. And we'll also be handing out postcards with a portrait of the soldier that was fallen and a bit about the history on the back, and these will be handed out on the day as well.
The parade starts at 10:30 a.m. on Castle Street this Sunday, followed by the fair at 11:20 in Gostre Meadow. Let's keep our fingers crossed for sunshine. This is Jenny Cole for Hogsback News.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the catastrophic blaze at Surrey's Clarendon House. Located in the building's namesake park, the fire was responsible for the destruction of countless heirlooms and centuries of family history. The mansion will see restoration in the coming years.
Surrey police have revealed that a man accused of throwing eggs at both people and vehicles in Godalming and Farnham has been cleared of any charges. Officers apprehended the 20-year-old, who's been released on bail.
A careless driving court case relating to the death of an elderly woman in Guildford have implied the woman may have been standing in a blind spot. Forensic engineer Adrian Armstrong claimed that the complication could not be completely discounted. The trial continues.
For those travelling via South West trains this bank holiday weekend, services will be experiencing limited restrictions on Saturday and Monday across Surrey, with reduced services from London Victoria and Clapham Junction. For more information, see the South West Trains website. Also, in travel news, an end is in sight to the disruption experienced by railway passengers between Farnham and Alton. The line was closed earlier this month after a landslide on the embankment at Wrecklesham. South West Trains ran replacement buses to keep passengers moving. Network Rail have now said that the line is set to reopen next Wednesday, 5 days ahead of schedule. Network Rail and South West Trains thank passengers for their patience during the disruption.
Surrey police have issued a warning to drivers of commercial vehicles after they pulled over a flatbed van that was more than 2 tonnes over its weight limit yesterday on the M25. The truck was stopped after traffic police noticed the chassis had split in two. Thursley Village will soon have 2 more potentially life-saving defibrillator phone boxes installed, with 2 already fitted. Hogsback TV is asking whether other towns and villages should be doing the same. Our reporters Olivia Peacock and Emily Drew investigated.
I came here today to see one of the much talked about defibrillator phone boxes in Thursley, opposite the Three Horseshoes pub. There is soon to be another 2 installed inside the small village in Surrey.
And I've been speaking to a few of the locals and also looking in the local news to see what is going on and to see whether we think this is a thing that should be more widespread.
I think that's a good idea, because I haven't seen that before. We don't have that in Germany, for example, because I'm from Germany, so I think it's a very good idea.
I think it's actually a really good idea, actually. It's something that a lot of other villages should take on board as well, actually, I think. It's always good to have this peace of mind that there's something extra there if something bad happens, that you've got these, these are actually open to the public to use. So.
On the other hand, however, Parish Councillor Sarah had concerns that the life-saving machine could be abused.
I don't know really how we could go about stopping that, because they need to be accessible really. They can't really be coded to get into the phone boxes. I think there should be some training as well for how people could maybe use them. It all depends on budgets as well from the council.
So will we see more of these defibrillator phone boxes popping up all over the country? And is it a good idea? This is Emily Drew reporting for Hogsback TV.
Marvel's Captain America Civil War hits theatres today. Entertainment correspondent Azaria Messingham tells us a bit more about this movie.
Hey, so Civil War has been released in cinemas across the UK today, and it's the 3rd instalment of the Captain America series. and it follows directly on from Avengers Age of Ultron.
So who can we expect to see in the film?
We have the usual suspects, they're back. We'll be seeing Captain America, of course, it being his film, Falcon, Black Widow, Iron Man, Hawkeye, War Machine, Vision and Scarlet Witch. However, we are seeing a few new characters and new faces in this film. The Marvel Universe is being introduced to Black Panther and also a brand new sparkly Spider-Man.
What can you tell us about the storyline?
I don't want to get too much into the plot because of spoilers, and we all know how people are about spoilers, but I will say there's a lot of layers to this film. It's slightly overwhelming that there are so many separate layers. It's not just about Captain America fighting Iron Man. We find out there's much more behind their actions. The film's a roller coaster of emotions. You don't know who to cheer for at times because by now we know these guys are more invested in their stories. We've seen them over the past 8-10 years. The action's amazing, which is always to be expected from a Marvel film. The fight scenes are well choreographed and look visually stunning. Overall, it's definitely one to go watch, but remember to stay right till the end because there are 2 end credit sequences.
Thank you for joining us, Azaria. On to sport now, and in last night's Europa League action, Villarreal scored a late winner to deny Liverpool what would have been a well-earned draw at the El Madrigal. A last-minute goal from Villarreal substitute Adrian Lopez has given the Spanish side a narrow 1-0 advantage going into next Thursday's second leg at Anfield. Tottenham Hotspur have confirmed this afternoon that manager Mauricio Pochettino is planning to extend his contract at White Hart Lane until 2021. The former Argentine international has been heavily linked with a move away from Spurs, but it's hardly surprising. The North London club have had a successful season, securing Champions League football for next season and guaranteeing a top 2 finish this season, their highest ever league position in Premier League history. On to rugby union now. It's sad news for Scarlets and Wales winger Harry Robinson has announced retirement from the sport due to a serious neck injury sustained last year during a Pro 12 game. At the young age of 23, Robinson looked to have a promising career ahead of him, already winning 3 international caps for Wales and scoring 2 tries. Meanwhile, in tennis, women's world number 1 Serena Williams has come from the upcoming Madrid Open due to illness. It's another huge setback for the 34-year-old, having only played in 4 tournaments since last August, failing to win any of them. And finally, Leicester City can win the league on Sunday if they're able to beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. Can the Foxes still be hunted down? Our reporter Tom Cann went to find out more.
For Vardy to run, and Vardy goes first time and scores a stunner!
Leicester City have had an amazing season and are just 1 win away from taking the title and achieving footballing history.
They've only got a win against Man United, and obviously even if they don't, they'll probably win the league. Obviously Tottenham would have to win all their games, wouldn't they? So yeah, they're about 20 to 1 on, I think, to win the title.
Few people at the start of the season bet that Leicester would win the league, but those who did can look forward to a big payday.
Yeah, obviously people who bet on Leicester, and probably Leicester fans would have probably done it at the start of the season when they were, I think, as high as 5,000 to 1. I don't know personally of any bets, not in this shop anyway, that we had on it. I'm not sure what the liability is to Ladbrokes as a company, but I'm sure we've got some bets, and at that kind of price, you don't need to do a very large bet to get quite a big return.
Leicester City grab the lead early from the big defender Robert Huth. Well, what about that?
Leicester and manager Claudio Ranieri have entertained us all season.
And also, hey man, we are in Champions League. We are in Champions League, man.
That was my next
Dilly din, dilly dong, come on.
Best of luck to the Foxes. This is Tom Cann for Hogsback News.
Dilly ding, dilly dong. Good luck to Leicester City in the title race.
Now, unfortunately, we have some sad news. Our great UCA Newsday contributor, Scottish Joe, is leaving us. He's on to bigger things and going off to London. Now, Joe, what have been your highlights with UCA journalism over the years?
Specifically with journalism?
Yes.
I don't know.
Does Bosnian Hector, does that come up in your highlights?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was good. Was that an actual interview?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I don't know.
You've appeared in many pieces we've done over the years, Joe.
The one I really remember was the Green Party one.
Yeah, I was about to say about that actually. How do you feel about portraying sort of what happened with the Green Party? I mean, do you feel like you're making a contribution to the publicity?
I don't know, I wouldn't really want to know.
That's fair enough.
Well, Joe, it's been great having you with us.
Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And good luck to everything in the future, alright? And that's it from us. Thank you for joining me and my good colleague here, Adam Smith.
Cheers.
Don't forget to search us on Facebook on UCA Newsday 1 and also on Twitter at UCA Newsday 1. Thank you and good night. Stay cool, San Diego.